These are dangerous times. There are all sorts of apocalyptic scenarios out there that could threaten our safety.
Survival's about having a plan.
We need to run some sort of fence around here. We could use concertina wire.
Learning skills and adapting to the best and worst that life throws at you.
Got this grill here. Knock zombies underneath the plate, or they'll be crushed by the car. It's beautiful.
Our philosophy is, if you're prepared for zombies, you're prepared for anything.
We all feared the day would come. And when it did, we were ready. Terror spread as fast as the infection. Martial law failed. The grid went down. But we planned for the inevitable. We fought back and not only survived, we thrived. Join us. Everything you need to know about surviving zombies is right here in the Apocalypse Field Guide.
Want to eyeball this thing next?
I think the other one's ready. Looks perfect. Zombie Tools is a band of 3 like-minded individuals, and we create accessories for the apocalypse. By accessories for the apocalypse, we mean things that can help you survive when everything goes to hell.
We started out knowing very little. We were just fans of blades, but now we've become some of the most creative blade makers in America.
We're preppers. Our business is based on being prepared for the worst-case scenario. Zombies, bioterrorism, or any other catastrophic event. To survive in a post-apocalyptic world, you need to get yourself into a group scenario that you trust and work well with. If you try to set out on your own, you will inevitably die. We have the weapons and the skills to defend ourselves, but that's only one part of being prepared. You need a complete plan. We're going to check the box on everything you should do or have in order to survive the zombie apocalypse, or whatever horrors await your particular apocalypse.
You need to be prepared now. And one of the things you need to have is some sort of basic shelter set up.
The panic portion of the apocalypse, especially in the early days, people are losing their minds, and everybody is going to be fighting over what is left.
So you really think that you can just hunker down inside your house and just wait it out?
If the apocalypse happens and city services stop, within a few days your electricity will go off, your drinking water will be polluted, and your pipes will start to back up with waste. Toxic fumes will fill the house and force you out into the streets.
If we were, say, going to set up some sort of fort shelter sort of thing on a low budget, like what would we do?
With the kind of money we have?
Yeah. Tent city? Tent city. The problem with tents is they don't even defend against bears. What if, when I was living in Seattle, I always went over the West Seattle Bridge, and they've got all those shipping containers down there. What if we took something like that and took it out into the woods and actually used that to like build the basis of some sort of bunker? To get away from the initial panic, we'll build a bunker using shipping containers. The awesome thing about shipping containers is they're cheap, they're indestructible. You can take a sledgehammer, you can take a blowtorch to them, and you can pretty much do whatever you want to them.
We could cut holes in this thing, we could add on railings and catwalks.
It doesn't have to be perfect right off the bat. It can be something that we can build on over time.
True. We can afford 3 shipping containers, so we're experimenting with a few different configurations. And we think the H shape is probably the best way to go because it gives us 2 courtyards, one for planting food and one for a forge and a campfire.
We contacted a local distributor and bought 3. So we'll get started as soon as they arrive.
This crew started with sword fighting, and it'll probably end with sword fighting.
It's a good way to work out tensions that arise in running your own business.
When you still have a scab on your head from a particularly brutal fight, it gives you peace in the universe.
Max's role? He's the lead on design.
Got this grill here. Knock zombies underneath the plate, or they'll be crushed by the car. It's beautiful.
Max is a debaucherous bastard.
After I get done pooping in this thing, I'm gonna bury a body in it. Fill it all up, be good.
He's a brilliant creative mind, which helps our design stay fresh, and he keeps raising the bar as far as how tight our weapons can possibly be.
Cha-chang!
If you really put some thought into it,
These are cool.
and know how to use your resources and materials, even when everything has gone to you can be sitting around a campfire, drinking rum and sword fighting, and having a damn good time.
How do you feel about doing a hammer finish of almost every single design?
Joey's kind of our production overlord of the shop.
You know, we stopped doing the rough and ready for a reason.
Yeah, but people like it.
But it's not any faster, so we can't make them any cheaper.
He makes sure that we've got a plan for how we're going to make a batch of blades and keeps the shop running.
Joey's a maniac just like me.
Joey and I, we really bounce off each other as far as making things, but as far as this actually being a viable business, that's Chris.
Ow! Oh, that is hard.
Chris, as the Minister of Propaganda, makes us look good to the world.
Here, she's got the weight.
He's incredibly educated, so he can handle things like taxes, which Max and I will inevitably love.
And he loves to be creative.
Come some sort of zombie apocalypse, I think that everybody needs a good stout blade. It has been the weapon of choice for the majority of human history where we've actually had tools.
I think the idea is that if you're prepared for zombies, you're prepared for anything.
We love our gun, but we realize that ammunition is going to be in short supply after a certain amount of time, and blades are really the way to go if you're looking at the long term.
We've got gas. Go rocket! Don't explode! For a lot of our heat treating, we have a computer-controlled kiln. The kiln gets up to 1550, and then we take it out of there, and then we quench it. But for any of the stuff that we hammer out, we go ahead and use this creature, which we call the pig. It's a hand-built forge. It's a two-burner design. It's based off of the Venturi burner, and the Venturi effect, it's the same concept as a jet engine. You have fuel that goes in, and then you have kind of a bell that comes down, and then it opens back up. So as you have the fuel, it shoots through, and it draws air with it. And I originally built this as a Venturi burner so that I wouldn't need to have forced air, but it just didn't get hot enough for me. So I hooked it up to a shop vac for just nice continuous forced air. But hey, I can vacuum out my car with it too. So we're going to take our blades, and we'll put them in there, pull them out hot. We're going to do our hammer finish on them, and then we'll put it into the computer-controlled kiln to finish it up.
We have to hurry to get the current batch of blades done and our bunker ready because the apocalypse waits for no one.
They're going to try to use the truck to push this 9,000-pound container back. We have no idea whether it's actually going to push it or not.
When you're dealing with an apocalyptic situation, people are going to panic, and you need to get as far away from them as possible. We've got a piece of land, out of town, in the woods. It's got a creek running next to it. It's on family land. We've got permission to use it. So, we're going to build a bunker out there.
I think we got there, we got here, and we've got that spot, but that's slopey.
Our initial idea is to place 3 containers in an H shape, so we'll have 2 courtyards to work with. This configuration will end up being 56 by 40 feet.
That means we have to move almost 88,000 pounds of soil for every foot we dig out of the slope.
Is this spot big enough? Tape. If we pretty much did it kind of using these trees, then we can take barbed wire, concertina wire, anything like that, and wrap it around this whole perimeter of trees.
We measured everything out in a sort of apocalyptic, backwoods kind of way. Using some technology, we used our iPhones as a compass, staked out our corners, got them square.
Close enough for apocalyptic work?
Yes. And used the clinometer to get our angle. It's like 85, which means we have a 5-degree slope.
To figure out how much earth we need to remove to level the ground, we used some basic trigonometry. By multiplying the 40-foot length of the containers times the tangent of the 5-degree slope, we get a measurement of 3.5 feet we need to dig down to get the ground level.
Let's get a bobcat and dig this stuff.
Ride that bucking Bronco.
So the storage units are coming in, and these are big, heavy things, so we want the trucks to slide in, drop them right into place, and not have to deal with them again. This thing needs lasers!
Now that we're done scraping the earth with this pitifully small bobcat, and it's taking forever, from a logistical standpoint, if we change the shape and we do a U, then it would give us a more defensible position from the road.
Might also help with noise. As far as people hanging out in the courtyard, it's not going to be projecting that way.
Down into the valley.
We're adapting. That's what Zombie Tools is all about. We're given a certain set of tools to work with. If that doesn't work out, we adapt, we change. And that is why we're going to survive. Placing the containers on the property, that was an interesting debacle. It was cold, it was raining, and the containers, once they're down, they're down. They're not going to move.
Right there. Does that look good, you guys?
Yeah, here it comes.
Oh yeah, she's down. Come on, Chains, do your job.
So each of the shipping containers weigh about 9,000 pounds apiece.
They're going to try to use the truck and this wet, slippery ground to push this container back to match this up as close as we can. We have no idea whether it's actually going to push it or not.
Ramming speed!
Oh yeah!
Just needs to keep coming a little bit more.
I think that's good right there. Awesome.
That's a lot better than I expected it to be.
Yeah!
Looks like he's sliding right into our little gap.
With the containers installed, the next step is to begin the basic structural modifications.
We just need to cut some entryways, and then we need to cut some windows so we get some airflow and some visibility, and some main access doors.
All right, we're going to have to chain this to the dolly.
Our first idea with the door is that we're going to put it in the middle. It's equidistant from the other two sides.
All right, you guys get that. I'll hold this.
Okay.
We're going to cut our passageways in here and get a look on the inside and make sure there's no structural problems that we might run into with that placement.
I think we're out of oxygen, which means we're not doing anything.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
With this. So.
Plan B?
To modify the bunker, we took up an oxyacetylene torch.
I think we're out of oxygen.
Unfortunately, we've had a leak in the oxygen tank, so we turned her on and we got nothing.
Which means we're not doing anything.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
With this. So.
Plan B?
Maybe you could just distill some oxygen in your lungs and blow it in here.
My lungs don't produce oxygen.
Oh, okay. Acetylene?
I'm not a plant.
So, we had to run off and steal some oxygen from somewhere else.
We got gas?
We got gas.
All right, now we can cut something.
An apocalypse is something of a Marxist wet dream. It's the people who know how to do things with their hands who are going to have all the power. And it's the folks who move paper and move information and talk on the phone for a living who are going to be quite helpless.
Magic door time?
Yeah, inside courtyard door.
It'll match the window on the other side.
So we can look from the courtyard outside. Humans do understand at some level how tenuous their existence is. All it takes is the minorest up. A nuclear bomb going off, a new superbug getting out, for everything to go to hell pretty quickly.
We've got the doors and windows cut. Security panels roughed in. You know, bunker basics. We'll continue to improve it, add security, but for now, it's a good start. It's something we can build off of.
The bunker meets the immediate need for shelter, but we also need to work out a short-term water system. In a post-apocalyptic scenario, water could turn very bad very quickly. In a zombie-type scenario, you've got dead bodies, which could create all sorts of problems with the water. You would probably see cholera. And then there are other things like Giardia and Cryptosporidium that are in our natural surface water supplies all the time.
Hi.
I'm Max.
Jim Carlson, County Health Department.
Jim Carlson of the Missoula County Health Department came out and talked to us about water. He knows a lot about all the nasty things that can creep into food and water supplies. One option is a well. Do you have any clue as to how deep we'd have to go?
Well, the deeper you can go, the better. And if you can pound a well in some sands and silts, you can pound a screen casing down quite a ways. But I don't see any indicator species that might indicate there'd be water close to the ground.
He looked around for the types of trees that would show that we actually have water underneath the bunker that we could actually dig a well to, and we don't. What would be the simplest approach to just getting basic water here?
We'll have time to sort out long-term water supplies like water wheels, but we need an immediate and short-term solution to start with.
The quickest thing to do is haul from the creek, get it as clean as you can with some sort of filtration.
Probably do some sort of sand filtration system in a barrel.
Yeah. The sand filter might end up being the way we want to go. We've got the tools to make something like that.
It gets the water as clean as you can get it from a physical filtration standpoint. If in the lower layers you get a little diatomaceous earth, that's even a finer filter. And then, of course, you can always boil water for at least 5 minutes. Boiling, of course, is a very easy way to disinfect water that's free of other chemicals and contamination.
Well, thank you so much for coming out. We really appreciate it.
You bet. It was nice to meet you guys.
It's about the perfect dimensions for a slow sand water filter.
Oh, that's disgusting. This is gonna be like the grossest water contraption ever.
To clean the water, we are building a slow sand filter. This is an old compressed air tank. It's about the perfect dimensions for a slow sand water filter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this top off so we have a nice lid.
Oh, this is gonna be like the grossest water contraption ever.
The inside of the water tank is completely rusted. We need a different tank or we're screwed.
I say we use that.
It might work. We cut open our first tank and it turned out to be pretty gross inside. So we're going to go with Ahab here, our trusty but dead air compressor.
Die, Ahab!
In order to finish building the sand filter, we'll need some activated charcoal, diatomaceous earth, and a few pounds of sand. So, I'm going to line this thing with some landscaping tarp just to hold the media so the sand and diatomaceous earth don't come out through the hole. Our first layer is activated charcoal, which is a form of carbon that has been processed to make it extremely porous. The pores create a very large surface area so that it can capture impurities in the water. And next, we will take our ancient algae fossils. Diatomaceous earth is fossils of an ancient algae. And this algae used silica to build sort of an exoskeleton. These little algal skeletons are very porous, and so they act as a great sieve for pollutants. All right, and now we're going to add the sand. So for the next 2-3 weeks, we're going to keep feeding river water in here. What does a lot of the filtration is capping of scum that will grow on here. When a filter is mature and you've got the organic layer on top, dirty water can go in and very potable water will come out.
We got the water filter assembled, so now it's time to make sure the water is safe. We are going to build a fire pit to boil it also.
I'm going to show you where the fire pit's going to go.
The fire pit is a great addition. It's going to clean our water, cook our food.
Right about here.
And keep us warm as a gathering spot.
Circular.
Round table. Nights.
Player drums.
going to play a drum.
Just give it time, Joey. 6 years into the apocalypse, you're going to be sitting here with your high drum, drooling from your malnutrition.
Max was digging the fire pit, so of course it was huge.
So Zombie Tools builds a fire pit.
And I think it was mostly because Max was having just too much fun with the backhoe.
It's like the fire pit of doom.
Playing with heavy machinery is always fun.
But there's a reason for a hole this size. At 2 feet deep by 6 feet in diameter, if it comes down to it, we could burn a body in there, or several, if the need arose to eliminate the risk of contagion. Could be zombies, or hell, even be one of us.
We've completed our fire pit. Now we can get some water from our new sand filter and boil it to completely disinfect it.
I have for you a nice cup of boiled water and weak tea.
So clearly we have more work to do with the water, but the bunker's taking shape.
It's like tea with the queen.
You, Joey?
So far, we've only checked off a few critical elements on a survival plan. We still have food, security, medicine. We've got a long way to go.
That looks bloody terrible.
Surviving some sort of apocalyptic plague
Isn't for a bunch of pansies. So we're gonna figure this out, because that's how we roll.
Nah, that's okay.
Oh, back in the pot.
Here, try this for tea.
That's better tea.
I really hope the apocalypse doesn't happen.